y'all, welcome. I am Hope at Crafty Hope, and it is now week 16 of hashtag Crafty Hope prompts. I'm going to tell you a little bit about that, and then we're going to get to it. Crafty Hope prompts is a project I developed to make my own prompt deck using 3 prompts a week. There are 52 cards in a deck and 52 weeks in a year, so each week I am pulling 3 prompts from my list of 156 prompts. You can find that full list below if you want a copy of it to either pull your own or whatever. But anyway, I'm taking those 3 prompts each week, altering a playing card that becomes part of my deck. And then later in the week on Saturday, I will have another project that uses those same 3 prompts for something else, whether it's an art journal page or a tag or a wall hanging or assemblage or whatever. Whatever I'm inspired to make with those 3 prompts. Then once I finish all of my cards, and I might actually use the jokers in here too if I can come up with a couple more prompts. Y'all leave me some suggestions if you see anything that my list might be lacking. Anyway, so that's the basis of it. If you want to play along, you can pull your own prompts from that list that's below, or use the prompts that I'm pulling. And you can alter your own card or do tags or an art journal page or however you want to play. I just asked that you also use the hashtag Crafty Hope prompts. Mostly I'm finding those on Instagram, but if you want to do it, I've got a couple people, at least one, who's playing along on Twitter. I will try to check in on that. I'm trying to keep up and make sure I see what all the beautiful things you're making. Alright guys, it's time to pull the week 16 prompts. So we're going to put away cards 1 through 15 and get going. I will give you options for different things for the prompts in case they're sketchy. Some of them are pretty open-ended. So let's get to it. Alright, make sure I have one. And it is photo. Alright, that's pretty easy. This can be any kind of photo. As long as it's something taken, I guess, with the camera, you can print out your own photo. You can use a vintage photo, maybe a yearbook photo, a photo from a magazine, anything like that. Just a photograph, something that was taken with a camera. I think that's, yeah, pretty, I mean, even if it's a photo of flowers, that's still a photo. Alright, that's pretty easy. Prompt number 2 is going to be art crayon. So a distress crayon, a marabou art crayon, gelatos, Stabilo woodies, things like that. I've got some other ones that are Xyrons, something like that. Can't seem to get it. These are all what I consider art crayons. They are almost all of them water soluble, at least the ones I have. But if you want to just use a crayon, if that's all you've got, that is fine. And I might, when I cut these down, just use the word art crayon and not use this whole little thing because it took the whole little square. Okay, so photo, art crayon. I could probably combine those if I wanted to color in things on a photo. That's an idea. Okay. That is 1 and 2, and number 3 is going to be drywall tape. Okay guys, I have 2 different kinds of drywall tape that I know I can use. That may be something you do not have in your stash. So think of other kinds of tape that are in your stash. A washi tape or even a masking tape. What else would be good tape? Some of that gummed packing tape, just tape. You know, if you don't have drywall tape, don't let that hold you up or stop you from creating. Find something in your stash that you can use in place of it. Print out my list, pull a different prompt. If you're behind, use one of the old prompts instead. However you want to do that. I know, like I said, some of these things are not things that are in everybody's stash. I made the list based on my stash and things that I know I need to use. Because that's part of what this list is for me, are things that, you know, sometimes I hesitate to use. All right, I'm gonna go gather a couple things, and yeah, we're gonna make this card. Let's go over what I've pulled out real quick. For photo, I started to go for the yearbook photos, but then I remembered that I might have a prompt card that says your book photo on it, so I'm not going to go with that. When I wrote photo, I meant photos. So I have pulled out some small sized photos here because they will likely fit on there, but I do have this little photo that I had ripped from my clean slate project the other day that might also work nicely on here. So I have some photo options. For art crayon, I have not pulled those out because I have some buckets next to me full of distress crayons, Neocolor 2s, Stabilo Woodies, Gelatos. I have those that's what they're called, Colorix. I have the Marabou art crayons, and then I have some of these gel sticks that are neon colored. I have lots of art crayons, y'all, and so I probably should put that in there a couple times to make myself use them. And then drywall tape. Apparently I have 3 kinds of drywall tape. These 2 are the ones I was thinking of. This is one with holes in it. It has a paper backing, like a sticker that you peel off. This is a grid pattern one. I can't find the end at the moment. Of course I can't. Where's the end of this thing? Oh my gosh, can you see the grid on here? I'll try to find the end in a minute because I'm pretty sure I want to use some of this. And then I realize I have this drywall joint tape here. It's kind of, and you can see the tag still on it. I've never used it. So I think I might even have some more of this somewhere. But it's super papery. Like so. So I don't know. It might be interesting somehow. I don't know. We'll see. All right. So I'm going to get started using these materials. Let me put some of this stuff aside to give myself some room, and we're going to get started.
Let me go ahead and say I have no idea how this video is so long. I really thought that I did this card pretty quickly, but I don't know. So I'm going to start just by covering up the laminated card with some paper. This is, I think I used this when I altered my can. So that's Distress Oxides, I believe, on paper that I used to go over my can that I pull my prompts from. So, and I just wanted a base layer of some paper on top of this to give me something for the other things to stick to. So I'm using matte gel medium and just sticking this down. The color of it had no bearing on me. Some of it will show through a little bit, but it's incidental. So I'm going to stick that down. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that I knew I wanted to create a bunch of texture with the drywall tape, at least the 2 I could remember I had. That third one I'm not going to use. I may try to use it more for my project. We'll see. So I have, look, and I found the end just like that. So I'll start with this grid one, and I'm going to put a little bit down. This, y'all, has a rubbery-like texture, and as you can see, it's kind of gray. And then this one that has the paper backing, or has the backing on it, is more papery with the holes in it. Both of these give an amazing texture, and I knew that's what I wanted to do with them. So I'm going to put them on both sides, and I'll put this one down as it is, and then I'm going to get a little bit of that grid one. I'm going to cut a hole in it. I decided, well, what if I made shapes out of it somehow? That could be really cool. So yeah, I'm just going to cut a circle out of it, which I never can cut a really great circle, but this one's not too bad. And I'll stick that down, and then even the waist that I pulled off of the other one, I'm going to glue down on that other side to give a little bit more texture. So I like that one a lot because you not only get the tape itself, but then the waist also. And I'm going to use, I guess, my matte gel again. I think that's the only adhesive I used in this whole card. Now, like I said, the background didn't matter to me because what I decided to do is I'm going to coat both sides of this card with white gesso. Both sides get 2 layers of white gesso. I'm going to show y'all a little bit of it, but it's a lot of coating, drying. So I cut that out. That's part of the reason I don't know how this video got to be so long. I was rushing to get this card done because I wanted to have it done so I can get the pictures before the sun went down. I like to take my pictures outside. and I was in a huge rush to get it done, so it didn't feel like it took a lot of time. I don't know. Where does time go sometimes, y'all? I am using heavy gesso from Prima Marketing. I think it's, oh, I can't remember. It's Prima Marketing. It's the Finnabair kind. I've got this one tube of it. I like it, I think. Um, Anyway, so yeah. So I did that, like I said, coated both sides, and I'm going to bring in a bunch of different art crayons, playing with them all, playing with techniques for them. Like I said before, almost all of mine are water soluble. So that's going to be a problem because I'm going to, yeah, we'll get to that. But so I use that Colorix one, which is, I found, I don't know, both of these, the Colorix and this neon one, I think I picked up at the thrift store at some point. So I picked a green and then this kind of mustardy yellow. I was trying to get colors that were next to each other on the color wheel so I wouldn't make too much mud. And that was my idea. So I got those scribbled on there. And then I'm using a fairly wet paintbrush to blend them and pull them out. I started with the green kind of on the inside so I didn't muddy the yellow too much, but I don't know if in the end you see much of the yellow. So I'm going to do that. I really wanted to be able to get some of the color inside the texture of all that drywall tape. And yeah, that's what I liked about the drywall tape. And I thought, oh, this will be beautifully watery. And then I'm going to dry it. And y'all, I kept heating that card up and it felt like almost like it was melting. Like it got floppier and floppier the more I worked on it. So I don't know. So I was trying not, on the other side, I'll try not to dry it as much. So I'm edging this with a distress crayon. This time I believe that's Vintage Photo, just to frame it up a little, give it a little bit of age, because I wasn't, when I picked the green and yellow, I was really just kind of going for colors that I don't use often in my artwork, just trying to challenge myself on top of the challenge I've got. And I realized it was just almost too bright for what I like, so that's why I was trying to push it back with something grungier. And that's why I went with the Vintage Photo. So I've got that on there. I think I'm going to dry it again once I spread a little bit more of that yummy Vintage Photo out. But y'all, look at how all that texture is getting picked up with these art crayons. And then this is a gelato, is a metallic one. I don't think I realized that when I picked it up, but then I was like, okay, whatever. So, yep. And of course I put a little down. I'm going to spread it out, and it's a turquoise color, which lends really nicely to that green and yellow combo I did before. And then this is, holiday berries or something like that I'm just going to splatter on the background for a little bit of like contrast, and then dry again. So at this point I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I felt like I needed some black on there. So I used my stays on in this Tim Holtz label script stamp to just add a little bit of something else on there, which is nice. It works out really nicely. And then I flip over and I pull out some, what is this? Oh, I've got this Marabou art crayon in this teal color, and which I love. So I was trying to go with colors that were more me for this other side. And instead of wetting it, look y'all, I am just, because a lot of these art crayons are blendable, so I am blending it out with my finger. And then I've got Rusty Hinge Distress Oxide, and I was going to try to do it with my finger too, but couldn't get it quite on my finger. So what I decided to do is just put it on a piece of plastic there and wet that. And I was going to do like a controlled splatter by putting the plastic on my card, but it didn't spread the way I wanted, so I'm just going to actually splatter it and get that on there. Now, I thought at one point I was going to use a Neo Color 2, and I pull that out later, but I decided that is a wax pastel and not an art crayon to an extent, so I didn't use it because I may have pastels on here later. So I used that little bit of pink on there because I think I had decided I was going to use this picture of a little girl, and it just felt like it was going to be right to have some pink. So that is the only way I brought in a Stabilo Woody, but I used almost every kind of art crayon. See, I'm trying to show you all the different ones that I used. so many of my art crayons in there, and y'all, I have so many more. Those are just some of them. So I'm getting that on there. As you can see, that was the only one I wet, and I was trying to keep from drying it, but it really needed to be dried. And so I've got that sliver of a photo that I'm trying to decide which side he would work best on, and I decide, yeah, this side with the green is a little more masculine, I suppose. So I think here I'm going to decide to stop futzing with it and go ahead and grab my matte gel and a paintbrush and stick him down. Now, I don't know yet which of these two sides is going to be my functional side with my prompts and which side is going to be my decorative side, but I was fairly sure that that side was going to be my decorative side. I mean, the green side's going to be my functional side. So here's the little girl. I wanted to try what I said before about coloring in the photo, but as soon as I put that Marabou art crayon down, I knew it was too waxy for that photo and just brushed right off. So, and none of them have like a really good point on them that I could get in on that tiny photo. So I'm going to leave it and add a little more color to this. I actually see, there's where I grabbed the Neo color and thought, but then I was like, no, it's a wax pastel. Man, anyway. Instead, I used this other Marabou art crayon in black, and y'all, it is like super black. I did not expect it. I'm going to wet this one, and when I do, it is like, it doesn't get real cloudy like some of the other art crayons do. It was like black, black. I was super surprised about that. So, once I put the black down, I realized I wanted some gold. So I've got my Liquitex acrylic ink in gold. And yes, I do have a couple of art crayons in gold. I have, I think, my Stabilo Woody and those Colorex crayons. I both have gold, but they're just not quite as gold as this ink from Liquitex is. And I need to use it because my bottle's getting low and I need to use it up so I can buy some more. So I am going to splatter that around on my card and once again dry my card. And then I was just making a frame for my girl there, and so I'm going to go ahead and stick her down again with the matte gel, and while she is drying, I've got this cheap O pen that I love from the Dollar Tree that I'm going to go around sketchily to frame up the card because I don't have any black anywhere else on the card except for on her little frame, and I felt like it needed something something. So I'm going to go around it sketchily. I think I do wet it as well in a little bit. Do I do it now? I'm sure I do while it's still kind of wet, just to let that blend out a little. And I knew I needed some kind of phrase or something else on here, so I grab these Tim Holtz clippings and find the phrase. I think it's like her eyes brightened. Her eyes gleamed. That's what it is, which I thought was sweet because I've got that gold on there. And I am going to accent it also with that pen and just do some scribbles. And making sure everything's nice and stuck on. I think I end up having to add some matte gel to everything again in a bit. But I'm going to cut down my prompts here just so that they're not taking up so much room. And I will stick them down on this green side. Like I said before, I'm just going to cut down the words art crayon and not all the rest of that, the suggestions. That was just a tip for me or for you to kind of prompt you more, I suppose. But I liked exploring with this card. The art crayon can be used in so many ways, especially since they're water soluble and they're soft. You know, I can rub them with my finger, I can activate them with water, I can draw with them, and all kinds of neat little things, make splatter with them, and I need to use them more. So this was a great reminder for me to use them more. So I'm sticking those down. I will also use that black pen that I have out to frame them up a little bit, just circle them. And yes, I've got to. I think even the photo of the guy and the little boy on the other side is going to get more matte gel. Do you see? And it popped up while I was wiping my finger off. Oh my gosh. All right, y'all, that is just about it for this card for week 16 of my mixed media prompt card. I will come back again on Saturday with some other project, I don't know what yet, using photo, art crayon, and drywall tape. If you have any suggestions of other ways I might use these things or whatever, if you're playing along, let me know and make sure to use that hashtag CraftyHopePrompts. I will see y'all later. Thanks for watching. Bye.